we should observe the ancient ritual of traditional pre-fight donuts.
Yeah!
Fear does not exist in this dojo, does it?
Am I the baddest mofo low down around this time?
Shut up!
Break, not hit back.
Silly Caucasian girl likes to play with samurai swords.
You will all refer to me by the name Betty.
I know Kung Fu.
Thank you, Chuck Norris.
I said I don't want trouble.
Only an idiot can destroy a ninja.
Defeat does not exist in this dojo, does it? No, Sensei!
Now, who wants to go home? And who wants to go with me?
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Kickflix. Kickflix. Yeah. My name is Mike All Ears Mercadal. With me, as always, is
Nery Saenz. What did I put? I forgot what I put.
Buckle up, Nery. Buckle up, Saenz.
Buckle up. Buckle up, Saenz.
This is Kickflix, the martial arts movie podcast in which we review movies to see if they meet my very stringent criteria. Nery's not so stringent criteria for what makes a martial arts movie, action movie that we love. Right? These are movies that are
listen.
Not all of them
get
we
beat
love.
up. It doesn't. If you get beat up, that's all that matters. That's it. That's
the one criteria.
It doesn't have to be physical. It doesn't have to be physical. You could get beat up emotionally, as we talked about in Warrior. And
that's true. Warrior does beat us up emotionally. I'll say this: this podcast is all about the movies that we feel we grew up with and we love. New attempts at martial arts movie classics. We all come at from. We're both '90s kids, which I believe is the peak martial arts movie era for where they. I guess it's our fondness of it. So there are some of these movies we love with what we call kid eyes because they're clearly not objectively good, but we're like, no, I love this movie. And then there's some that you go back and you watch, you're like, oh man, this is genuinely good. We really enjoy this. I have my list of rules for what I think makes a Kickflix movie, what makes a good Kickflix movie, and Nery has his. But we are going to this week. We're diving into the 1992 classic. Question mark? Is it? Do people think of this as a JCVD classic? Universal Soldier.
I mean, this goes on my JCVD Mount Rushmore.
You really? So we have a
do
little
with that
insight
what you
into
will.
what. Do
with that what you will. Do with that what you will.
What is your so JCVD? This movie came out in 1992. Do you think this is what was his peak though? Right? You know how like Jim Carrey had
this is his peak.
You believe
his peak would be Time Cop. His peak would be Time Cop. That's his peak.
Really, Time Cop is an interesting choice.
I know that because they immediately called him for a sequel, like immediately, like right after the movie came out, and he didn't get to do a sequel because, in his words, he was so pig-headed that he thought, well, if Jim Carrey gets 20 million, I should get 20 million.
Wow!
And they never called him back, and those are his words.
And they're like, no, thank you.
Yeah.
This movie came.
They didn't even say no. They just never called him back. That's even worse.
That's pretty rough. I want to see where in the lineup though, because on you know how like IMDb has their known for subject category.
Sure.
I just want you to hear the movies that is on there for Jean-Claude Van Damme. Right, Jean-Claude Van Damme, Double Impact, right? Playing two characters. All right, Kickboxer. Classic,
but he's played two characters in like 5 different movies. So
kind of his thing. 1989 Kickboxer. Okay.
Yeah.
Street Fighter is on there.
See, I would not agree with that.
And Double Team, the Dennis Rodman masterpiece that was Double Team in 1997.
Again, I even like Double Team. I do like that movie. That's not Mount Rushmore. That's not. You're not going to
That's-
mention Bloodsport. You're not going to mention
That's
Bloodsport. Okay.
exactly. That's what he's quote unquote known for.
No.
I'm trying to see. Oh wow, he's got a lot of like voiceover credits, which I did not not to be surprised by, but I was surprised.
They're all Kung Fu Panda.
They're all Kung Fu Panda. Let's see. So this is 1992. I just want to see where in the scope of it all. So Lionheart was 1990 and Death Warrant Double Impact. So this was leading up to, yeah. I would say that's, Time Cop was 1994. So this is all like, do you think he peaked with Street Fighter?
No.
Oh, he peaked with The Quest. Clearly the best of all of his works. This movie came out.
I didn't even like the Quest when it came out, to be honest with you. I remember watching the Quest and thinking to myself, yeah, this is great. Like I was trying to force myself to like it. I remember secretly going like, this isn't really good. But I was like, no, I gotta like it because it's Van Damme. I gotta.
Van Damme is one of those people that you will see whatever they're in?
When you say go, do you mean like physically go to a movie theater? Because I don't think I would physically go to a movie theater to go see
Not
Van
these
Damme.
days.
Yeah.
But yeah, the idea of so like Jean-Claude Van Damme, he's a Kickflix icon, we'll call it. Like he's one of the people that we go to a lot. He represents a big chunk of the Kickflix.
Well, it's a genre, right? It's a genre of movies that he made.
Yeah. He's definitely in there.
He's done some real shady shit recently, personally, so I don't really want to call him an icon, but his movies, his movies are iconic. Yes. I don't stand with Van Damme's
of the era. This is
his movies.
I forgot about that. We discussed that, but what a complex history in this man's oeuvre. This is a Universal Soldier dystopian future movie, like the future of the past. Was always really interesting. 1992, the tagline or the IMDb tagline is "Soldiers who were killed in action are brought back to life in a top secret military experiment that creates superhuman warriors." You cannot deny the accuracy. But that's about it. Director Roland Emmerich, now,
which has done some shit.
Right, like Roland Emmerich has done some pretty big movies. Like when he did Independence Day, he wrote Independence Day.
He directed it too.
Was he?
Yeah.
Remove these. What other director credits?
He's directed The Day After Tomorrow. He directed. There's a bunch of movies that he directed. His movies have grossed so much money that he's like the 17th most bankable director. It's pretty impressive, and also really.
2012, The Day After Tomorrow. He did The Patriot.
Yes.
The other complicated man of our that we love the movies.
Our childhood,
our childhood. So, he did Stargate. That's the one I was thinking of. Stargate.
Art and artist, man. Art and artist.
The separation of the art and the artist. Universal Soldier was written by Richard Rothstein, Christopher Leach, and Dean Devlin. I don't know any of those people. Starring Jean-Claude Van Damme, Dolph Lundgren, and Ali Walker. Those are the three top billed. As always, we go into we understand that we saw these movies when we were kids, but sometimes parents need to know what's in these movies so that we can guide you effectively. So we go to the IMDb parental guide, which there's mild, moderate. Well, there's none of each of these topics. There's mild, there's moderate, and severe. Sex and nudity. What do you think we got?
Mild, right? Because we see his contractually obligated bare ass.
Yeah, he always got to show his butt and stuff. Van Damme loves no one loves his butt more than Van Damme himself.
No one loves Van Damme more than Van Damme.
Exactly.
In general.
Van Damme crashes through the motel wall, and we see a couple naked in bed, presumably after sex. No nudity is shown. Okay.
Yeah, that's why I have a problem with that one. It's like, how they say we see a couple naked in bed. It's like we don't see them naked.
You don't see them naked in bed. There is no female nudity in this movie, but there's a man's buttocks is shown. Accurate. Violence and gore.
Severe?
It's got to be severe. Yeah, it's severe. The Vietnam War flashbacks alone, the all ears of my situation is a lot of people getting shot straight in the face, like head, like it was pretty good. Let's see. Oh, and a lot of like when he cuts the tracking device out of him, or he cauterizes like the wound, like all that stuff's in there. Level of violence 9 out of 10 according to someone's user submission. Profanity. Where are we at? Profanity.
Mild.
Severe. 19 uses of the word fuck, 2 paired with mother. 25 uses of the word shit. 6 uses of the word ass, 3 used with hole, and 4 uses of the word bitch. Once again, I love the receipt, like breakdown of the profanity in this one. Alcohol, drugs, and smoking.
Smoking. There is some smoking. There was a whole point. Yeah, I almost made my name Surgeon General.
Yeah, this is clearly a 90s movie where you could just smoke wherever. At a time we grew, like that's the thing that I think people have forgotten how much when we were kids there was always just like a smoking section in a restaurant, and even then in some places it was just the restaurant was the smoking section.
Yeah.
Mild. There's a lot of smoking though, not a lot of anything else.
I don't think a lot of smoking. I just think like for the first half of the movie there was like maybe 4 cigarettes, but compared to now, that's
yeah. And also, she was like stress smoking the lady character, which I've forgotten her name. The opening scene.
Veronica Vaughn. That wasn't her. that wasn't her last name, but her name was Veronica.
This is in the Billy Madison universe. The frightening and intense scenes.
I guess moderate.
It's moderate. Opening scene is dark and very intense. A lot of the PTSD stuff going on. These guys are PTSD'd out to the gills. Dolph Lundgren's character is an utter psychopath who kills many, including innocent civilians, and collects their ears for a sick necklace. Now, I don't think they meant it as sick, like I said it. They meant it differently.
But it could be both ways.
It could be both ways.
2 things could be right. 2 things could be right.
It was, in fact, in the United States, it was rated R. And everywhere I see, let's see, Brazil 16 plus, Canada 18 and older. If you are from Japan, it is a general audience, self-applied.
So funny.
And in let's see, Singapore, mature 18. And with that said, what do you say we get into the Kickflix?
Let's go. All right. So the movie opens up Vietnam, 1969.
Nice.
69.
Nice. Yeah.
We see a soldier screaming in terror in the jungle, but luckily Van Damme is there to manhandle him, grab him, throw him to another log, and shout at him, "Calm down, because nothing says calm down like the soothing fucking manhandling of another person.
Yeah. And also, once again, we get this is I say this for every Van Damme movie, and I get it, but this is another movie where he plays down home American Jean-Claude Van Damme, but
there's
a redemption at the end. So yeah,
well, there's a great line in between. Like, first of all, we'll talk about this more, but the comedy in this movie really underrated.
You think? Yeah, I mean, it's not terrible.
No, there's some good on-purpose comedy, like the way they shot it. This director, and then I didn't realize who the director was until after I saw the movie, and I just saw The Day After Tomorrow like 2 days ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I rewatched it, I should say.
Yeah,
and then you can see his sensibilities in it. Like, there's certain things where he does on purpose, and it's like almost sitcom timing, where you're like, oh, good, this is a good feel moment, and then right walks in, whatever.
I actually enjoy Stargate is actually like one of my favorite movies, like of this era. Like, and to know that it's the same guy makes a little bit of sense. This movie feels different. There were parts of it where I'm just like, it felt old and new at the same time. Does that, you know what I'm talking about? Go ahead.
All right. So he shouts at him to calm down. He asks him, "Where is everyone?" And he gets told that they're all dead. The whole platoon. The Sarge totally lost it. He went nuts, killed everyone. And I was like, "Well, that's it. That's all the exposition that we need. Thank you for that." Then JCVD sees a flare in the sky and he walks towards it. He sees a Sarge doing the craziest version of arts and crafts. He's like, "Look, Ma, I made a necklace. It's human ears." JCVD asks him, "What's going on?" And Sarge says, "They wouldn't listen." And I fucking laughed.
Dolph Lundgren, underrated comedic actor. I think that he's funny in this movie. Once you get past the craziness,
not only is he funny, but the writing, the amount of ear puns. Holy shit, man, so good.
Also,
he holds up the necklace and he's like, "They wouldn't listen."
Yeah,
and I'm like, "That's
pretty good."
Yes,
the idea that this is also the era of where everybody who was like a young man, young 20s or young, like a 18-year-old kid got sent off to Vietnam, comes back from Vietnam, and they all have stories, like tragedies of Vietnam. Like a lot of these people. So like there's like Rambo. First Blood is a
drama.
It's a drama about PTSD, and it's not about the fucking, It's about the fact that he just wants to live a normal life in the woods, and then they go mess with him. This is that era. And also it's like, this is also the era of like, this guy's a villain. There's none of this complexity to the villainy, right? Like he's just the bad guy. And there's
I would say the complexity is the PTSD.
Fair, but also like
the PTSD made him the bad guy. Like, I'm not saying he's not the bad guy, but you're saying it as if it's like there's no reasoning. It's like, well,
no. Because here's what I'm saying. Like there's also those military stories where like Jack Reacher has a good one. The Tom Cruise Jack Reacher, where some people get it. He does this whole speech about who wants to get into the military. There's some people who just want to get into the military to kill people, and this is like there's no P to this guy's PTSD if you're gonna blame it to his mental.
It's NTSD, like now traumatic
stress, and it's not even like, I don't think he doesn't really seem that traumatized. He's just kind of like, he's just doing it. He doesn't seem that banged up about it. So it's one of those things where it's like he's just crazy, and I love I think there was like a whole trend of like the redeeming the bad guy in like the late 90s, early 2000s, where it's like, he's not evil, he's just misunderstood.
I think it started with Mel Gibson's Payback. Where the poster of that movie literally said, "Get ready to root for the bad guy." It literally said that.
Shit like that. I'm not gonna say it starts with the prequels where suddenly Anakin Skywalker's a little kid. You're like, no, I just wanted to see him be bad. I don't need to know anything else.
I don't need to see him, sexually assaulted by an adult woman.
An adult woman. But yeah, this
nice. Nice.
Dolph Lundgren, underrated comedic actor, and also he's playing just a straight up villain, and I appreciate. It was very refreshing.
JCVD says that the village was cleared and that these people were innocent. Sarge calls them traitors, and JCVD says that his tour is done and he just wants to go home. And he says, "You want to leave? You can't just walk away. Do you hear me?"
It's like the Verizon "Can you hear me now?"
He holds up the necklace and he goes,
"Can you hear me now?"
Yeah. Then he holds up his ear necklace and asks again if he hears him. I laughed again. JCVD stabs him with a bayonet, which I was like, whoa, that's something you don't really see in a lot of war movies that are not in the Revolutionary War days. You really don't see somebody actually using the bayonet. You actually don't use the bayonet, but they did. Sarge shoots him, and they both start shooting and killing each other. The next morning, there's a crew of military personnel bagging the bodies. One of them asks, "How do we write this one up? What do we say happened here?" And a superior officer tells them that they didn't see anybody. They're MIA, calling a code zebra, and tells them to pack the bodies on ice.
I've been thoroughly impressed with how chill they are. Like, they were just like, "Hey, we got another string of ears." They're like, "Damn, that's a third one this week." You know, like, how many branches of this program were there where they're just like, "Hey, collect the body"? But I will say we skipped the part. This is always funny to me in 90s movies because this is like real effects, right? This is all in camera. This is not like there's no computers used in this movie for like everybody's doing squibs and things. So the guy for the Vietnamese guy gets shot in the head, and then the girl's like, shake it, like, "What are you doing? You're not going to get his head back together."
I like that though because it made it seem real, like she was in shock. She was like, "What is that?" She was in shock. That made it seem.
And then this also has very famous, like the infamous shot of that scene has the infamous slow motion, everybody just getting shot with a machine gun in slow motion. You know, like Full Metal Jacket style, where they're just like, "No." And I was like, check. This is hitting all the 90s buttons. Like, this is crushing it. But they are chilled, and they pick up, like, what do you think of Code Zebra? What is the zebra?
You know, they're half dead and bring it back alive. So dead alive, black and white. They're dead and alive at the same time.
I'll allow it. Okay.
I put here, insert cold ass title opening because that shit was cold as fuck.
The body bags, dude. Yeah.
They did the body bags, but then it went at that music, and then it hit the name, the title. I was like, that's cold, baby. So I was surprised that both got top billing. It was above the title. Both names, Van Damme and Dolph Lundgren, were both above the title. I did not expect that. I thought it was going to be Van Damme in Universal Soldier with Dolph Lundgren, but it was Van Damme and Dolph Lundgren. All right. Nevada.
How big a star was Dolph Lundgren at the time for him to get top billing with?
Yeah, Van Damme.
Because Rocky IV was 85.
Yeah, he was done. That was his prime.
Yeah,
that was a one-hit wonder. That was it. This is his second. Before this movie, I think he had done like Red Scorpion, which bombed. He ate a lot of shit of Red Scorpion.
Yeah.
So there was, I Come in Peace, which is another movie that fucking bombed, and America just didn't want to see him as a hero. We're like, you're the bad guy, bro.
You're the bad guy.
All right, Nevada, present day. We see a huge cargo plane that couldn't be bothered to be painted green or black. It still had the American Airlines stripes on it. That plane lands. A giant military truck comes out.
The most obvious. Like, this is a secret base.
This is a convoy. This is a major. Yeah. It's a whole thing.
Yeah.
The truck comes out of a giant military truck. We see soldiers with cool ass 1990s headgear get off, and it's the dude from Gladiator. Did you notice that?
Yes. Yeah. There's a lot of iconic character actors.
Will later on become iconic character actors.
Yeah.
This guy wasn't shit back then, but he looks, not for nothing, but this guy looks exactly like he did in Gladiator. And Gladiator came out in 2000, and I was like, how? Did you get yourself on ice for fucking 8 years?
Yes, he looked exactly the same. I'm trying to. I think his name is Ralph Mailer. He's GR70. He's that guy. There's a few people, especially in the Kickflix genre, where you see them and you're like, oh, that's that guy.
Yeah.
From. But you'll see like even one of the scientists were like, oh, that's that guy, and you're like, from a million other things. Oh, that's the guy from Darkman,
Yeah. Anyways, it says it's the dude from Gladiator. The scientist needs a ladder, which I thought was funny. The soldiers board a helicopter, and we then get taken to the Hoover Dam. I'm assuming because they don't say Hoover Dam.
It is obviously the Hoover Dam. Yeah,
but it is obviously the Hoover Dam. At the Hoover Dam, there's a hostage situation taking place. The colonel tells someone that the soldiers got dropped off 1.5 miles away. The soldiers make it in 4 minutes.
Crazy speed. That's like physically impossible.
And then he says they're 30 seconds behind schedule, as if to say they should have been here 30 seconds ago. But
they're letting me down.
I will allow them to swim a 4-minute mile and a half.
They can't. People can't even run a 4-minute mile. Oh God!
But it wasn't even a mile. It was 1.5 miles. Like
yes,
it
was
like that's
like someone in the writers' room was like, round it down, and they're like, keep rounding it down. Is it believable? Keep rounding it down. They're violating the laws of physics. Keep rounding down. You know, like okay.
Yeah, this whole movie is violating the fucking laws of physics. They're dead. We brought them back to life. They're fine. They're zombies. This also could be a zombie movie, right? Can we classify this as a zombie movie?
It is 100% a zombie movie. I was watching that. I was like, oh, this is a zombie movie for sure. Yeah. Because it's not like they're alive. Because at some point, that there's a dude that's shot up and he's dead, unsurvivable. They just throw him in ice and then he's like fine. So maybe they all have, maybe this is like a Wolverine origin story, or like it was like inspired by Wolverine.
All I know is, as I was watching this, I was like, now I have the answer to when anybody asks me what's your favorite zombie movie, I'm gonna say Universal Soldier is my favorite zombie movie because it's a zombie
also
movie.
This whole level, I was like, didn't I play this in GoldenEye? Like I was like, there's a whole GoldenEye.
Hoover Dam
that was like exactly the same. And also, do you think it bothered Van Damme to be the shortest guy in that lineup? You know how they show like all these. You know how like it is.
I mean, I know it wouldn't bother me, but that's probably saying that it bothered him. Okay, so we see a very tardy journalist, the mom from Kazam. She got fired seconds after giving an on-air report, which is wild as shit.
Yeah, that's
like
so
she gives an on-air report. By all metrics, it was a good on-air report, and then she got fired seconds later.
She nails it, and they fire her.
I'm like,
yeah,
dude, that's weird. Okay, so the team demonstrates its superior training and physical abilities against the terrorists, killing them. JCVD, who are from now on called GR44, because that is his name, GR44. We don't get his actual name until the last scene of the movie.
Right.
GR44 has a flashback when he sees one of the hostages in the is an Asian woman. The colonel, lieutenant, I don't know. They call him colonel 95% of the time. There's one journalist that calls him a colonel. Then he gets in a car when he refuses to give any more interviews, and she says, "But lieutenant," and I was like, "You just called him a colonel."
This was written by a bunch of like Sarge. Like nobody cares. They're just like, yeah, throw some military titles. It's like, what's the order? Who gives a shit? Sarge, Colonel, Lieutenant.
People don't know this. There's no Google. Shut up. Just fucking write it. Yeah, who gives?
There is something special about these '90s movies where you went into these movies not being able to know anything at the time. Like unless
not even rewind. You can't even rewind. You know?
Like when you nobody's reading the trades before they go see Universal Soldier. You see the trailer on TV, and maybe you look in the newspaper and you see when it's showing. Like this is 1992. There was nothing. But I will say that also means that there's every time you saw a car flip over or the truck unload, you know, and it goes and it it loads up. All that shit happened. Like, you know, like you realize there's something kind of special about these older movies where you see that somebody built something to do a thing and they shot it on camera to make it look that way. All of the gadgets that you see on the guys' heads.
That's what I'm saying. That's the coolest fucking headgear. Dude, you don't know how many times I wanted that headgear. I wanted that. Oh, dude, as a kid.
But they also like that. It's so funny now. We're doing that right now. I could take my cell phone right now and be doing the Universal Soldier shit.
With better quality.
Quality.
I'm in the middle of the ocean.
You're in the middle of the ocean. That's so crazy. They're like this high technology, whatever, and it's like, yeah, that's what it was at the time. And this part, there is some classic, I will say, in Kickflix fashion. We got to talk about the martial arts kicking in here. There is some really classic 90s neck snapping going on. There was the Dolph Lundgren loves that move. So there was a couple of those. And then also, like, I did find it pretty funny that whoever wrote this, JCVD's like trigger, his PTSD trigger is just that all Asians look the same to him.
That's why I specifically put he has a flashback when he sees one of the hostages is an Asian woman. Like, that's it. That's all he needed.
That's it. Like, and he's just like, oh yeah, that's right. I remember it.
Yeah.
Like, oh shit.
He tells the colonel tells reporters that for the third mission, the Universal Soldiers accomplished the goal with no casualties.
What were the first two missions?
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, we could do though. Like, I'd watch the origin, like or is that was in the sequels? Maybe they came up in the sequels, but
no,
they made the Universal Soldiers 3 and 4 and whatever.
They actually never made a part 4. They made 7 movies. 2 of them, 2 sequels were direct to TV, right? Made for TV sequels. Okay. Then Van Damme came back for Universal Soldier: The Return, which erased that continuity. Like, they pretended those made for TV movies didn't exist. Okay. Then years later, they came out with Retcon, Universal Soldier Retcon, and then Universal, I forget the other one, Demolition or whatever it was, and they erased Universal Soldier: The Return.
What in the Highlander? The
so we have 3 Universal Soldier Part 2s. We have 2 Universal Soldier Part 3s, and we don't have a single Universal Part 4, even though we have 7 fucking Universal Soldier
Good
movies.
Lord.
Wild. All right, so back at the military trailer, the Universal Soldiers are recovering, and the science nerds ask GR44 why he became unresponsive. GR44 says innocent. He just kept repeating innocent. The village was cleared, Sarge. The science nerds think it may be an old memory and recommend pulling him from the program, but the colonel says he stays because if not, there's no movie.
Yeah, it reminds me of that scene in the whole time. Like, as soon as he said that it was like not another teen movie, when they're like, "Get in there" to the nerdy guy, and he's like, "No, thank you, no." It's like, "You're gonna get in there, god damn it!" And he throws him in there, and he gets cut in half. I was like, "Oh, it's like, leave him out. This guy's clearly malfunctioning. Leave him out."
The science nerds think it may be an okay. He says it's just a little. Yeah, the colonel says he stays. It's just a little mix-up. Just give him the serum. Which, again, I love these tropes of like the serum. We don't know what the serum is. We don't need to know what the serum. We don't need to explain. You don't need to make up names for like scientific molecules and like it's a mixture of.
This is the third mission. They ironed all that out in the first 2. We're in the third. You don't need to know that.
We don't. It's the serum. It's the serum. It's fine.
Yeah.
We see all the units get a serum injection in the back of their necks. The journalists, the mom from Shazam, was it Shazam? No,
Shazam is the mysterious.
Yeah.
It's Kazam.
Kazam. The journalist, the mom from Kazam, sneaks onto the base and she finds the corpse of the shot up soldier. She's taking 27 pictures because one is not enough. She needs 27 pictures with flash.
Yeah, the brightest flash you've ever seen.
Yeah. He wakes up and she runs away. She runs back to her station wagon where there's a fucking ramp came out of nowhere. I don't know if you noticed that. So they get in the car. She goes, go, go, go. She's telling her photographer, go, 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 her cameraman. They get in the car and immediately, right from taking off, they go into a fucking ramp and they crash. And I'm like, you didn't see the ramp? Like, that's a ramp.
Not only is there a ramp, it's like this is, again, 90s filmmaking where there is no CGI or anything like that. They're like, it's like, oh, we gotta figure out how to get him out of here. Because do they explain why he hits a ramp? He just driving, and all of a sudden,
but he wasn't like driving and then took a wrong turn. The ramp was in front of the car where they were parked. It's pretty fucking hilarious.
It's so funny. He like just hits it and then he goes, boom, it rolls over. And again, the car flips and then nobody's hurt, for real. You know, like
Yeah.
nobody's that damaged.
Well, that's what I put. I put her and her cameraman somehow survive. GR13, which is the shoots. That's Sarge. GR13 shoots the cameraman in the fucking face.
Yes, that's the one that I was like, oh, okay.
I was like, wow. This starts the memory flashback and causes JCVD to take her into the car and take off.
That was Dolph's signature move, a bullet to the face. That was his, that's what it's his tried and true, his old reliable.
You know, it works. When something works, you just keep doing it.
Yeah.
After taking his cool-ass headset off, the journalist is able to get him to not follow orders. GR13 calls him a traitor, so now his PTSD is.
Yeah, you can see all of it. Everybody waking up.
Yeah. The head scientist nerd develops a conscience and says that he can't be part of this anymore after the colonel refuses to bring in GR13 for shooting a guy in the fucking face. The colonel says, the colonel says this whole operation is, quote, off the shelf.
That's not the phrase, first of all. Off the books is the one that I've always heard.
But he says off the shelf.
Off the shelf means it's prefabricated. So again, that's not necessarily, but it's also this is the dumbest scientist you'll ever see. These like, what do you mean I've been committing war crimes? What do you mean? I created the zombie condition for humanity? What do you mean? I thought this was a routine military program.
We got to do this by the books, Colonel. We got to do this by the books. This war crime has to be done. There's a syllabus, and we are sticking through. Wait a minute. It's so funny.
But it is true.
The colonel literally calls him stupid. He literally says, "I thought you were smarter than this."
Yeah. It's like, what do you mean? Of course this is illegal. What are you talking about? I'm bringing human beings back to life to become killing machines.
Yeah,
this is not just unethical.
We're literally Dr. Frankenstein. Like, are you fucking crazy?
Literally Frankenstein right now. That's so good.
He's off the shelf, and then and that he he says the wimps at the Pentagon would never allow the regeneration of dead soldiers. American soldiers, like that's what makes a difference. Like the Pentagon would have been like, I'm okay with it if it's different soldiers, but American soldiers, nah, I'm not.
Yeah. I mean, did he pick up any Vietnamese bodies? No, just the Americans. If it had been Vietnamese, maybe. I don't know.
He says the whole time when he said this, I was like, who is funding this? If it's not the wimps at the Pentagon, who the fuck is funding this?
Who's got the money?
This is an absurd amount of money. And then if you're funding this privately, why with the fatigues? And you had a press conference? The colonel had a press conference?
Yeah, like this is off the shelf. By the way, all the news people are here. What do you mean? So not only is he a bad leader, he's bad at espionage, and like he's getting the CIA to kill him.
But also, the third mission, and the government still hasn't heard the news. The government hasn't watched any news.
This is one of these cocaine-fueled writers' rooms where they're just like, just smash it together, make it make sense. They'll believe anything.
I think this is what happens is this had multiple, like most movies, had multiple writing units. And then some people were like, just keep that part in, but we got to get rid of that part. And this is one of those things that fell through the cracks where they're like, oh, this is a good scene. Yeah. But they don't put together that prior to this, there was a scene where he held a press conference. So they didn't put, you know what I mean?
Yeah, they're like,
because either one of those scenes is good. This is a third mission. This is the third mission. I'm the military colonel. Got it. That's a good one. Also, this is off the books. Those wimps would never have the balls to do this project. Cool. But them together, you're like, oh no, that just doesn't make any sense. It wouldn't. Okay. Whatever, dude. It's a fucking zombie movie. Let's not pick at it.
His whole career is pretty much Universal Soldier. So the writer, what's his name, Richard Rothstein, is pretty much just Universal Soldier. The other guy,
did he do the sequels? Did he do the sequels?
Yeah, all of the multiple the retcons. The other guy's done a lot of TV. Dean Devlin was also a producer on Independence Day and Godzilla. I guess he works with Roland Emmerich. But the Richard Rothstein must be to blame.
Yeah.
There you go.
When the mom from Kazam asks GR44 why he's helping her, he repeats that his tour is done and he just wants to go home, but he can't until she is safe. She points out that he is shot, and then he takes a cigarette lighter in the car. Holy fuck.
You know it smells like bacon in that car.
Talk about old school technology.
Yeah, I did have a moment.
I was like, when was the last time I saw a cigarette lighter in a car, bro?
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Like using it because it sits there. It's in a lot of random cars have it now. Like they have the spot, but they don't have the thing. They like it's used for the car charger or something. But it's
but they don't have the cigarette lighter. That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the cigarette lighter. I don't. Yeah, that's
as somebody who smoked for a long time, I used the cigarette lighter to smoke. Like I would use that in the car to smoke.
Why? You're the only one my age I know has used that shit.
I used to use it all the time because I was a smoker and it was there. And look, you got to shout out to the automotive designers of the era because it's convenient. A super hot thing to light your cigarette. It fucking worked. So for him to use it, I'm also like, there were times where, when I was even younger, when I was a little kid, that my dad or my mom would be like, "Don't play with that," because it's a little clink, 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 clink. And I can't tell you how many times I burned myself with that thing, like a dummy.
All right, so he uses that to cauterize the wound. They run out of gas. Lionheart then starts pushing the Bronco 30 miles an hour.
Yeah, we need to show his capabilities. He's not just back from the dead. He's better, faster, stronger.
Right. They pull into a gas station / motel, but there's no gas into the refueling truck. It's supposed to show up the next day. GR44 is running hot. He needs to cool down. Kazam's mom needs to make a call, so she is forced to rent a room. GR44 starts the AC unit to cool down, and Van Damme takes the opportunity to fulfill his 1990s contract clause and get his bare ass in the movie. But he still has his socks on because you didn't pay for the toes. You didn't pay for the toes. You didn't pay for the toes.
Wiki feed. No, thank you. Also, the hotel has a waterbed. When's the last time you saw a waterbed?
And it was advertised. Like, hey,
yeah, like
our rooms have waterbed.
But this is good story structure in the sense of like it shows he's super strong and fast, and he has all these superhuman capabilities. But he's got a cool down period. He's got a weakness. Yeah. That was So now they've built in his strengths, but they showcase a flaw that will, of course, come into play later. You know, like they're doing all of this. Yeah. Like this is where it's like, okay, they're doing good. You know, like story structure wise, solid.
Veronica turns on the news and hears that she's been framed for the shooting of her cameraman by TV news position. She walks out of the room and he walks after her naked, and then he falls down. He needs ice. We see him in a bathtub full of ice. We presume that she was able to lift him, take him to the bathtub herself, because of course he's weighing what, 185?
Yeah, Veronica is the universal soldier at this point. Of course,
Veronica could deadlift 185 pounds.
Dead weight body. That's the hardest shit in the world to pick up.
She notices his wound is healing. When she goes to the front desk to use the phone, she realizes the phone doesn't work. That phone doesn't work either. And the guy says, "What? Well, women just don't know how to use phones." That was actually said in a fucking movie, bro.
So dumb. It's so dumb.
What? Well, women just don't know how to use phones. I'm like, my guy. Like,
even if you're doing 90s stereotypes, that's the thing women do. Like,
that's what I was like, in stereotypes, women are just secretaries. That's literally all they know how to do.
That's what that's you did that to them. You did that.
You made them this phone loving machine that they are. Like, you made that.
That's funny. Stupid. But it also, I do that guy was like the most cliche. Like, there's also that, like, what did you do to it? It's like, oh, all the phone lines have been cut to the building. If that happened to me, I would not be my first assumption would not be we're getting invaded as a military, you know, like some sort of weird infiltration is happening. but for him to say that is like, of all the things he could have chosen, it's just like, something must be wrong. Was there a power surge? Anything?
I would have said you must have broken it. You must have broken it when you hit it when you knocked the lock out, because the phone had a lock, and she broke the lock. Right. So I would have said like, oh, you must have broken it when you broke the lock off. You must have broken the phone. Is what I would have, just said. But I'm not a fucking male chauvinistic pig, I guess. I don't know. Yeah.
We're not 90s action movie writers.
Yeah. Women don't know how to use the phone is the funniest line to me. GR44 gets dressed, and on TV there's a documentary that teaches him that the war is over. The Unisoul's
Thanks, convenient newscast.
That's what I said. I was like, thank you, Dockett's position. Documentary's position. And the Unisoul's completely destroy the motel, but GR44 and Veronica hide in a bed with the couple that was there until they leave. She asked him, I figure you're from France or Canada because of your accent. And the funniest line in the movie, again, written line, is he says, dead ass to the camera, what accent? And I was like, oh, that's fucking gold. That's
I do like, because that's my complaint about JCVD movies, where there's always like, he's from, like, and even Arnold Schwarzenegger movies, where it's like, he's just a good old country boy American from Minnesota, Arnold Schwarzenegger, and nobody talks about it. And then in this, so this whole scene, we breeze past, like, there's a huge action sequence here where there's like, so there's a lot of like very classic tropes happening. First of all, Debo from Friday is one of the Universal Soldiers, and he's got the Gatling gun, of course. There's the guy in the chair, all of the.
I don't think that's Debo.
That is Tiny Zeus Lister. It is him.
Okay.
And I looked it up because I was like, is that Debo? I paused. That's what most of these movies are for me anyway. It's just like, hey, is that the guy from that other thing? But so basically what's happening is that there's all these action sequences, and since it's shot so chaotically, they have somebody in the chair literally narrating the action. There's like one guy whose job it was to say, and now he's doing this. Oh, this is blown up. Oh, now he's shooting this. And it's like, that's literally what the writers from streaming networks are doing now. They're like being told to write for if people are looking at their phones. You've heard that? Have you heard anything about that? That's been like, they want you to write. The streamers know that people are on their phones. They don't want people to be missing stuff while they're looking at their phones and something's on the TV. So the writers are being told to, like, in scenes where like you and I would be talking to each other, I would be saying your name a lot, like, Nery, we got to be talking about Universal Soldier, and you'd be like, Mike, come on, man, we're going to be talking about Universal Soldier: The Return.
I did not hear anything.
That's been a thing that's been reported. So basically, this movie is already doing that because the action is so chaotic. And then I also love that the whole action sequence, right, is a Kickflix. It's all real. Like, there's no CGI. So I would kill to see a movie shot like that now, like where there's like like Mad Max Fury Road doesn't have no CGI, but it has limited CGI. They did as much as they could in real effects.
Nolan likes to use very little CGI as well.
He actually invented time travel. That's why that was the whole in Interstellar. That was like a big deal. He invented super light speed travel. Then
I'm just talking about like the action sequences of him running. The cornfield. 100%. He built a cornfield.
The movie The Fall Guy was really good about having like actual stunt people doing stunts and all that stuff. So like, this whole action sequence is what I remember as like what makes good Kickflix action movies. Maybe not martial arts is big in this one, but the action is real. It feels real. Even if it feels clunky, there's a go off a ramp right away. They're hiding in it's still all done in camera. And part of me is watching this with like nostalgia, like, oh, I remember when everything felt real, But anyway.
We're taking a long time. We're in the first 15 minutes of the movie.
So now it's a road trip movie.
Road trip. He tells her to look for a tracker. They pull over at a gas station. He tells her to look for a tracker. And again, another funny line. He goes, "Look for something hard." He's completely naked. And she goes, and then he says, "Look for something unusual, something hard." And I was like, "Hey,
yep,
get your rocks off, bro. It's been 25 years."
Well, I mean, his brain is off, so it's like, does his body still react? Like,
yeah. My brain is off.
Dead,
my brain is off when I'm sleeping, but I still wake up with a wood. That's not your brain.
Also, the tracker thing, I was reminded of the Total Recall pulling the thing out of the dude's nose.
Yes.
I was like, yeah, you got to cut it out of him. It's somewhere.
They set a trap, and when the Unisouls arrive, the gas station explodes. GR44 and Veronica sneak in onto the command center bus and steal documents. The colonel is ordered to terminate the mission. Ordered by who? We don't know, because you think those wimps at the Pentagon would have the balls?
Who's in charge?
So the colonel is ordered to terminate the mission, but GR13's insanity returns and kills the colonel by shooting him in the fucking face.
Yes, it's a classic Dolph move.
That's his move.
Classic Sarge.
Sergeant Scott, he says his name. Sergeant Scott gets on the mobile command bus wearing the colonel's uniform. I don't know if you noticed that. He's wearing the colonel's.
Notice that.
He took off the desert fatigues, and now is wearing green camouflage. And I'm like, where did he get that from? And I'm like, oh, he took the colonel's clothes.
The dead colonel. Yeah. That's why he shoots people in the face.
Which is only
he can take all their clothes.
Yeah, which the colonel is only 6 inches shorter than him. I mean, it's fine. I'm sure the clothes fit fine.
Yeah, same on the shoulders.
And he tells the doctor, this is so fucking funny. He gets to the mobile command center. He's wearing the colonel's uniform. He tells the doctor scientist that the colonel can't hear them, and he places his ears on the table again with another ear pun. It's so good. It's so good. He then kills a guard and the doctor. We then see Ivan Drago load up on muscle enhancer, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, this guy cannot do a movie without doing steroids. He cannot. He's just like, I need like, it's physically impossible to achieve this without performance enhancing drugs. Drago then kills one of the science nerds who was trying to use the injection to kill him. We see GR44 finds out about the food in his he finds out about food, and his inner fat boy loves to eat. Once again,
diners are an elite dining experience. Those roadside diners, short order cook people, like places where you can get any breakfast item you want, a burger of any kind. Diners are elite, and then but you never get the special, because that's what they get, the special. And I was like, nope, Spaceballs. That thing's gonna pop out of your chest.
Yeah,
sorry.
The cook demands that he pays for all the food, but he doesn't have money. He's like a newborn. He has no idea what money is. He's like, I don't have money, and whatever.
In the eyes of the cook, he's clearly picking on an autistic guy. He's clearly picking on somebody who's slow.
In the eyes of the cook, he doesn't know what autistic is.
It is the 90s. Yeah.
92. He has no idea what.
They would use a word that I would get canceled for saying.
Yeah.
on the podcast, because but it is like, when you think back on it, you're like, he's just literally taking everything literally. He's obsessed with, he's just exhibiting all kinds, like, everything is technically autism spectrum shit, which I'm learning more and more about lately. But it's pretty, like, through that lens, it's like, oh shit, this is ridiculously, like, offensive.
So, he asks for money. He doesn't have any. The cook tries to beat him up, but he beats him up, and then a bunch of guys, they try to jump in, and they all get beat up while he's eating, which I love this fight scene, because he's just like eating and then kicking ass and then eating, and nobody lands a single punch, which, again, if he's an elite soldier, nobody should land a punch on this guy. It's not like,
or if they landed, it should crush their,
and he just kept saying, I want to eat. That's all he kept saying. And as somebody who loves food, I was like, I feel you, brother. I absolutely feel you.
I get it.
While in the while in a supermarket trying to cool off the injured Unisouls, Sarge believes that he's still in Vietnam fighting the insurgents. That's when we learn that he's still, like, fighting the insurgents. And I love the fact that scene is a great scene. The Sarge is dragging the bodies through and he's like, where's the freezer? And the kid's like, oh yeah, it's over there. It's fine. Yeah,
I'm not gonna ask any questions. I'm not. Who am I to judge?
Yeah.
Who am I?
Minimum wage. 1992. I'm getting paid $2.15 an hour.
Yeah, I do not get paid enough to care about this. But ironically enough, 1992 could still afford a house with $2 an hour.
Fuck it. Hey, you ain't wrong. Yeah. Again, for another movie in a row, the person to blame is pay for Medicare system. So
yeah, exactly.
Using information stolen from the stolen documents, Veronica Vaughn goes to the house of Dr. Christopher Greger, which I don't know if you know this, but he's really good with doing abortions.
He's good. Yeah, he's also like arrested so many bad guys. He's also very good. I remember he was turned into like a candelabra.
Yes.
Also, he was turned into a candelabra. Yeah, this guy's done a lot. But I will say, when they go to his house, the first thing I thought of was like, oh my God, that's the lady that killed Salinas.
That's what I wrote. I said, he says they go to Veronica goes to the house of Dr. Christopher Greger. Greger, whose maid will kill Selena and later on, informs them that the Unicell project was started in the 1960s to develop the perfect soldier. Although they were
Yolanda,
motherfucking Yolanda, and like a snitch that she is, she wouldn't fucking. There's people here that said you have an appointment with you. Fucking bitch.
I wonder if she doesn't get work because everybody's like, "Fuck you, you killed Salinas."
Yeah, and I gotta be honest with you, she looks the same makeup, same fucking makeup. I was like, what is? It's wild, bro. It's fucking wild.
It's so funny.
Yeah, to a program in the 60s, although they were able to reanimate dead humans, they could not overcome the body's need for cooling. And another major problem is that their memories, of the last moments of life are greatly amplified.
Basically, yeah. All of the stuff that's happening now.
Yeah. GR44 tries to put Veronica on a bus to LA. This is what I mean by good comedy, right? That scene is he tries to put her on a bus to LA, and he's like, "Look, just go. You're done. You're free. Blah, blah, blah. I'm just gonna go home." She skips the bus, and in that touching moment, the bus leaves, and the first bus leaves out of the shot, and then you see she stayed behind, and it's like, "Hey, man, I stayed for you." It's like a very touching moment. And then the bus behind her moves, and every police officer in the entire fucking state is there. And I thought that was such good comedic. That's directing.
Do you think it's supposed to be? It was supposed to be like a dramatic moment, like, oh no, they got caught. You think it was supposed to be funny?
It's funny because the music leads you to believe it's funny, and then the fact that she drops her purse, like, oh fuck, she turns around, she does a slow turnaround. She does like what the, and it's clearly meant to be funny. I loved it. I appreciated it. Again, all these scenes of like what accent and all of these things. I'm like, it's such a good amount of comedy that I think just gets overshadowed by everything else, by the craziness that's going on. But when you're looking back at it, you're like, this is like, this is what Marvel fans love.
Yes, that's true.
These are the moments that Marvel fans are like.
Thinks Marvel fans love.
Yeah. These are what Marvel fans love. Like, this is, let's be real. Marvel fans got mad at DC because they didn't do shit like this. These are scenes that that DC needed to include in their movies as per Marvel fans.
I understand what you're saying. This is the thing. Sometimes that's just solid filmmaking of like surprise, right? And the tone can be done differently, right? Like the tone that you get from
they switch tones from like dramatic, oh look at me, I made a dramatic, I'm here to stay for you, I stayed for you, to comedic, like, oh, and then it was not a record scratch, but it was like a music.
Yeah. It's like slowed everything down. And you're right. The surprise is funny. But I even made a note, like it's an emotional scene. He's only mostly dead, because I thought that was pretty funny. That he's not, and it's like, okay, get on the bus, and then she psychs him out. They do the psych out move. But then I also note in the previous scene, Dolph Lundgren, he's good. Like he should have gotten more play. Like he should have got like I don't know what his cocaine habits were at the time. I don't know what his deal was, but he's good in so many. Like in Creed 2, he's great. He's
actually a really good actor.
Good actor.
Yeah, he's actually a really good actor. I was thinking that I put that note later on where I said Dolph Lundgren legitimately plays Psycho because he does it in Expendables again. In the movie Expendables, he does it again where he snaps.
He goes crazy.
He does it again, but he does really good at it. He does it really well.
But even then, I would like to watch him in a more legit role, but also like in a comedy. Like I would like to see him be. He's inherently funny. I don't know if you saw the trailer for the new Lethal Weapon movie with Liam Neeson. That it's very deadpan, very dry. He could have been in those movies. Like he could have been in the Lethal Weapon movies, and it would have been hilarious because of how much you believe he is who he is. I think he's underrated. Anyway,
I agree.
The bus moves. It's a Extreme Makeover Home Edition movie.
They are. Oh, let's go. That's a good bit. Yeah, that's a good joke. They are arrested and taken in a bus. Just the two of them. No one else. They could have been taken in a squad car. There were 75 squad cars.
A million. Literally everybody. When their hands were about to touch, I was like, I immediately went to like Arrested Development when the father's in prison. No touching. No touching.
Yeah. It's just the two of them. Sarge and GR, whatever the fuck number he is, ambush the police convoy. They give chase. They kill the bus driver, and then he says, "Hey, you should check on your bus driver. He doesn't look so good. Like it's so good. He's so good. He's so good as a psycho." GR44 he jumps off the police bus as he jumps off. He's able to jump off the police bus, and both the bus and the Unisoul truck both drive off a cliff into the Grand Canyon and explode, killing GR76. I only know his number because the internet.
There's
no way I would have known that.
Once again, all of this in camera, live action like thing. Technically, they are littering into the Grand Canyon, so add that to the list of their crimes. But it's like literally, this is stunt work. Like this is like legit stunt shit.
Yeah.
And I'm actually like that was also part of it.
Oh, you know what?
Super impressive.
John Wick uses a lot of practical.
Yes.
Stunt
that's why it stands out in the face of all of the CGI, whatever. Like the
yeah, but they're also to blame for the whole CGI thing because of the Matrix. So let's not pretend. Let's not pretend. GR44 and Veronica survive, and as this is another scene where comedy intervenes, a dramatic moment. GR44 and Veronica survive, and as they kiss, a single cop tells them to freeze, which puts a kibosh on the romance immediately, which is hilarious to me because they were like having that tender moment, and you just hear a disembodied voice, freeze, and it's a cop. Veronica gets to jump on him. They steal the cruiser, and then she tells him that she's taking him home. Which, again, I just love that moment because it's another moment of like, we're not going to let any moment get too serious or too lovey-dovey or too like it's just going to be.
Is this the part where she says she's a tough chick because she grew up with brothers?
Yeah.
That's the part where I'm like classic 90s.
And she shrugs her shoulders. You're like, I grew up with three brothers.
I grew up with brothers. It's like, were you boxing them the whole time? Because that's like all child. That's like abuse.
Yeah,
like you shouldn't be proud of that.
Next scene is they're in Monroe, Louisiana. Is that how you pronounce it? Monroe? I don't know how you pronounce it.
I don't know, but it's also like finally we get a justification for his fucking accent. This is
also, but also what accent?
What accent?
That's it. That's all you need. That's all I needed. That's all I needed.
Yes, that's fair. But it's also like it's good in the story because he doesn't remember why he has the accent. But then we go to Louisiana and we learn why he has the accent because he has Cajun blood.
But also, if you're from Louisiana, you don't have an accent.
If you don't think of it as an accent. Right. You just speak.
And like people tell me I have a Miami accent when I'm like, I don't know what that means, but I have the whereabouts to not be like, I don't have an accent. I don't do that bullshit. But in my mind, but in my mind, I'm like, oh, I guess I have I don't know what a Miami accent is, but I guess I have it. So they go. It's Monroe, Louisiana, day 5. They pull up to a house, and an old woman speaking French hugs GR44, and she calls him Luke, which is when we get his name.
We finally get his name. Yeah.
I don't remember if Baby's dad, the doctor, calls him by his name.
I don't remember either.
I don't remember either because I was too distracted by him being Baby's dad and his maid killing Selena.
Killing Selena's. Yeah.
I don't remember. So she hugs him. She calls him Luke, his mom. Opie's dad comes out and greets him. Did you know that's Opie's dad?
Was that him?
That is Opie's dad.
Andy Griffith?
No. Ron Howard's dad. That is Ron Howard's dad.
Oh, it is.
So him and Ron Howard are brothers.
Oh, no. What if it had been Ron Howard got taken for the Universal Soldier program?
That's what I'm saying. Or Clint. Clint Howard would be so much better. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
Clint Howard as a Universal Soldier would be fucking chef's kiss, man.
That's really funny. I'd watch that.
Yeah. That was I didn't know if you knew that was his dad. I knew.
No, I didn't.
Yeah. I've read their book. Ron and Clint wrote a book together. And it was fantastic. It was a biography from both of them. So I knew that already, but it was great. Veronica is leaving to meet with a news crew to try to clear her name. As she leaves the house, this is a scary moment. This was shot very well because you can see the suspense build up. She left the keys in the ignition, but where are the keys? She leaves the house. She's met with Sergeant All Ears. That's what I call him from now on, Sergeant All Ears.
That's me, baby.
Yeah. The lights go out in the house. His parents get tied up along with Veronica. Apparently, Luke has just been looking at pictures this whole fucking time, not paying attention to his surroundings.
How quickly? Well, they did swim 1.5 miles in 4 minutes, so he's very fast.
Yeah, and he's taking more. He's taking the fucking Ivan Drago,
the steroids. He's even faster.
The serum.
The serum.
Luke goes outside and gets his ass beat, then gets thrown 30 feet against the barn door. This is where we see some martial arts. He does the roundhouse. He does the Van Damme.
Sarge takes 3 signature JCVD kicks and is just like into it. Like he just eats them. And then it's like, and then he's like, attaboy. It's like, fuck your attaboy. You know what I mean? Like it's like that was the move, that JCVD move that he had been doing forever. And that's the finisher. And now for the finisher not to work, it's like in wrestling. When like the Rock would rock bottom, someone kicks out of the rock bottom. It was like a big deal. If someone kicks out of the stunner, it's a huge deal. This is what that felt like. And I will say, I did not like the fight choreography in this movie. The fighting, I did not enjoy at all. It was very cut. They didn't have any kind of, even for a Van Damme, it was just not, it wasn't good, in my opinion. So this part was like, yeah, I guess they got to get the kicks in there, and that's it. That's it. But there was literally like he was throwing grenades, and I'm like, of course a kick isn't gonna hurt him. They're throwing grenades.
What do you mean he was throwing grenades?
There was like the part where he threw JCVD, right? Like he threw him, and then there was a grenade. There was like an explosion. Am I wrong? Am I mixing things up?
Yeah, you're mixing things up.
Oh, maybe
the grenade comes later when he throws a grenade at her. That's coming up in a minute.
Right. But again, it's like this is a grenade movie, not a martial arts movie, in my opinion. You know what I mean? Like the fighting.
You get once you get a roundhouse, that's a martial arts movie.
That counts. It counts.
I mean, if you say the word karate, you like that's a martial arts movie.
Technically correct is the best form of correct.
So he throws him 30 feet against the barn door. Ivan Drago takes more muscle enhancer because he needs to get stronger, and he then launches Luke another 30 feet, then gets slammed against the car. Sarge literally repeatedly just slams his head against the car.
Yes, yeah.
Sarge threatens to shoot Veronica, but the gun is empty. Again, great acting, great psychopathic acting by fucking by Lundgren in this moment. He's doing
good,
great.
Man.
Veronica runs, and Sarge throws a grenade at her, and blows up the car next to her, and it's a huge explosion. Luke yells in anger and then does the Frank Dukes thing and roundhouse plus kick plus roundhouse and
kicks, yeah,
all for nothing.
But it was like, I don't know if you know that they're both juicing, right? Because JCVD is super powered too, right? Like he's supposed to, but not as superpowered.
Yeah.
So there's a thing that's going to happen soon, or they're trying to make it happen, where it's the enhanced Olympics. It's called like the enhanced games, where it's like do all the steroids you want. Let's see how we could do it. I'm like, this is like very early inspirational thing of like, just steroid up and do steroids.
Well, this is what everybody was talking about during the home run. Remember when Mike McGuire and Sammy Sosa and people were like, "Oh, there are steroids," and people were like, "Who gives a fuck? It's fun."
Who gives a shit?
Shit, I don't give a fuck. Just smash the shit out of that ball.
Yeah, I want to see dingers, but also like this is the part where I was like even more. I was looking at the fight choreo and like it's super strength. It's hard to make super strength look dumb or to look good in fight choreography that makes it believable, especially in this context. Like it was shot weird, so like the fighting is literally the only part that fell flat, but whatever.
I legitimately was so into the movie. I didn't even notice any. Like I was just like, cool. It's awesome. Yeah, it's awesome, man. So anyways, Luke grabs. So they fight. He gets his ass kicked inside the barn. He goes in and out of the barn. Luke is able to grab the muscle enhancer from Sarge and injects himself. Now they're evenly matched. And Luke kicks Sarge's ass and then impales him on the spikes. I had to look this up, what kind of machine this was. He impales him on the spikes of a hay harvester.
Yeah, like a hay baler.
I didn't know what a hay harvester was. I was just like, oh, okay. And so he impales him. Then Sarge grabs onto him, and he does that last second, like grab onto him. He's gonna also kill him. He breaks his arm. Luke breaks Sarge's arm, and then starts the machine. And he literally puts your discarded, Sarge, and he discharge. You're discharged.
Yeah.
And then he just activates the machine, which shows you spraying out body parts all over the place.
Yeah, recover from that, motherfucker.
Yeah, and then
this is classic Fargo shit. Yeah,
that's what they wrote. He then shreds Sarge to pieces, Fargo style. That's what I wrote.
I call it AKA the Fargo Dispatch.
Yeah,
even though they do it in Rumble in the Bronx, also they do wood chipper shit in the Rumble in the Bronx. The wood chipper feels like a classic. Like there ain't no coming back from this. It's about sending a message, and this is literally that. And I was like,
which is hilarious because fucking 20 years later they come back. Dolph Lundgren comes back to do in one of those retcon sequels. His character comes back, and I'm like, what?
He got wood chippered.
Can you imagine the military getting there a few hours later after we cut the movie and they jigsaw puzzle his ass back? Like that's crazy.
It's not a code zebra. It's a it's a code jigsaw. It's we got to put this puzzle.
Yeah. Surprise! Veronica survived. They hug. She asked him, "Where is he?" And he says, "Around." He's around, and I was like,
"Pretty good." Pretty funny.
Fucking good, man. These cokeheads.
She looks great for getting grenaded, right?
She looks amazing.
She looks
By the way,
great.
she has aged very well.
I was looking up stuff that she's done since then. A lot of TV stuff.
Yeah,
mostly TV. But she's done like a lot of voice, a lot of stuff. But she's like working. She's doing like legit work. And
she hasn't worked in a while, but in a few years now, like 4 or 5 years.
FBI. She just did in 2024. FBI's Most Wanted. But basically, she Ghosted. She was in 16 episodes of the series Ghosted, which I don't think anybody watched, but whatever. 16 episodes just to get paid.
She did the whole series because that's all they did. Ghosted.
The Colony. She did another movie. She's working.
She did that. She was in a series. I forget the name of the series. For a long time, for years, she was in a series, which is the reason she was not able to be in Universal Soldier: The Return. That's why they killed off her character in Universal Soldier: The Return.
Sons of Anarchy, The Protector.
No, was it The Protector? She did a series that she did.
Oh, the Profiler. The Profiler.
Yeah. She was in that, and because for that reason, she had scheduling conflicts, and she wasn't in the movie. And because of that reason, they killed off her character. Her and Van Damme's character got married and had a kid. They had a daughter that was in that movie. That was in The Return Part 2. I watched The Return last night also, by the way. And the main villain of The Return is a bad movie, but it's a bad movie with good intentions, and it had some really good parts in it. The Return, if you watch The Return, it's the main bad guy is Michael Jaleel White, which is again fucking awesome. And Michael Jaleel White,
Michael Jai White.
I'm sorry, that's different. Michael
Jaleel White. That's a Steve Urkel as Spawn. That would be.
That's so great.
Michael Jaleel White.
Stefan.
Steve Urkel as the new Spawn would be honestly, he could do it now. I'd watch that. Let Jaleel White be Spawn.
Stefan as a Universal Soldier would be fucking awesome, dude. That would be
bro, did you see Skeleton Crew, the Star Wars? He's in it and he's wearing the headgear. He's wearing the Universal Soldier headgear.
Oh,
Jesus Christ.
Right. Oh, man,
oh my God. Michael Jaleel White. Oh my God, that's funny.
That's so fucking good. Anyways, Michael Jai White is the bad guy in Part 2 in The Return, and it's actually like a combination of like Hal from A Space Odyssey, from what's it called?
From 2001, Space Odyssey.
2001. So Hal is this AI again, very pertinent nowadays. Very like it's so Hal is this.
Look,
so good.
He's wearing the thing.
He's a Universal Soldier, bro.
He's the Universal Soldier. I'm telling you, we can do it. We can do it.
So, the bad guy is this system. It's this AI system that finds out the program is going to get shut down, and to protect itself, puts itself into a human body. The human body is Michael Jai White. And it's fucking that. So, but it's not good. What kills The Return to me is all the rock music, the grunge music in the background.
It's a very late '90s bullshit thing.
It's a 2002 movie, but it's also
it's of that era. You know,
it's the filmmaking of that. Yeah. It's like
it reminds me of Ben Affleck's Daredevil, where it was like everything was like a needle drop.
Everything was that. Like, yes, that's the problem with The Return. I wish I could get the masters of that movie, the footage, and re-edit it without that fucking music, because it would be a better movie. I don't know if it would be a good movie, but it'd be fucking better. I know. Dude, it was so bad. Like within the first half hour, there were like 5 different needle drops of all this grunge music where they're trying to make it a thing, and you're like, oh Jesus Christ, man. Anyways, so that's it. That's the movie.
White.
Michael Jaleel White.
Clearly, So, I will say, speaking of needle drops, the movie ends with a song by Body Count, the band Ice-T's hardcore band, and I was like, that's a bold choice. I think that's a bold move.
That's the entire movie of The Return. That's the entire thing.
It's just that, here's a song
that you might. It's just whatever. I don't know. It was disappointing because in that movie, Van Damme did real acting in The Return. He had he was funny, he was charismatic, and he did real acting. And then you go, oh fuck, and you ruined it with all this music.
I'll say this: this movie it was fine. It was enjoyable. It was of the era. It fits. Like it doesn't blow me away, but it is very much. It
blew that Vietnamese lady away.
Oh my goodness! Her boyfriend or the other guy, the dude at the beginning, she tries to put him together, and then I like the way the doctor went out. The scientist, he was like he wants you to pull the pin and wait 30 seconds and open your hand, whatever. To get it, but I think he did it by mistake. I don't think he meant to kill himself, the doctor. Oh really? You don't think
there's a part of me that thinks that he did, and there's the other part where you see him struggling, and I think the Universal Soldier just happened to grab onto his hand as well, and he couldn't let go.
Oh yeah, there was a lot of they don't. They're robots, but they're not. They think, but they don't. You know, like all of the memories and all that stuff. So who knows? You know, but in terms of favorite scenes, so we end the show. We always talk about our favorite scene and our rating. My favorite scene, honestly, is that I want to say it's that initial Hoover Dam scene, because that's where you get the most combination of kickflixy things. In the movie. Like, you get their super enhanced, you get the 90s neck snap, you get some hand-to-hand stuff, you get really good infiltration things, and then you get, you know, like, you get they're successful, they're competent. I like seeing people be good at things, right?
Yeah.
But so that may be, I will say, I do not like the fight choreography or the way it was shot in this movie. That's always kind of a thing, going back and watching these kind of Van Damme, Steven Seagal movies, all of this era, when I've since seen all of the fight choreography that is possible with Jet Li and Jackie Chan and all the way they shoot their action. So I'm always like, I look at it differently. So in terms of ranking, well, what's your favorite scene? What was your
my favorite scene? That's a good question, man. I thoroughly enjoyed this movie throughout. So I don't I remember when I was a kid, just seeing the headgear was so, like, it was changing to. I was like, oh my god, that headgear was so cool. Like,
White. I'm saying, that's so cool. Just put headgear on somebody.
Yeah, so you make anybody look cool with that. And so I gotta think. My favorite scene. I watched this movie twice in the last 3 days, and I would say, I like how the parts with Sarge in it. Sarge going crazy.
Sarge, he's really such a good character, good villain.
It was I think the scene in the supermarket was real cool. I like that. I like that scene.
He was acting in that scene. He did a good job. He's acting.
I hope so. if he's that psychotic in real life, we should call it.
When I say that, that's like those moments when I was like, when you're surprised at how good the acting is. Like, there are times when I'm watching a movie and it's so good that my wife is there, I'll pause it and I'll be like, man, these people are acting. You know, like, just like you have to comment on how good their performances are. And that scene, I was like, man, that was the scene that made me be like, that. They should give this guy more real things to do, you know?
Yeah, I mean, he was in Aquaman. He did real acting in Aquaman as well. I mean, as real as you can in a superhero movie, I guess. But I don't know. It's, you know, he did real shit, is what I'm saying. So I like Sarge a lot in this movie. I go back to the comedy. I like all the comedy scenes. I like all the scenes where, like, what accent made me laugh, cackle out loud. They weren't listening, made me laugh. You know, could you hear me? Are you hearing me? That shit made me laugh, dude. All the comedy made me laugh. If I had to pick one scene, I guess I go with you on the Hoover Dam scene. I think that's it's
a great introduction to show how powerful they are, right?
Yeah. I like that. I'll go with that. So what's your rating?
You know, it's not a perfect movie. It does fall under the category. There is like some. I did not see a montage at any point in the movie.
You have a very strict checklist that you need to go by. It's so funny to me.
That's my list of things. But in terms of, like, is this an enjoyable movie to watch? It's of its time. If you go in knowing what it is and watching it, it's a recommendation. So if it's a 3 out of 5, 3 out of 5 90s neck snaps, and which is, it's not good, in my opinion. It's not bad, but it's also not good. You can watch it for as a study of 90s action movies of the time. Like, you'll get a good experience watching it if you know what you're getting into. But that's my 3 out of 5. You can watch it and form your own opinion. 3 out of 5 90s neck snaps. All
right. I go 5 out of 5 ear necklaces. I go 5 out of 5 New York. It's this is it's very difficult, but I usually put Universal Soldier in the Mount Rushmore of Van Damme movies. I go Bloodsport, JCVD, Time Cop, and Universal Soldier. Those are mine. But Universal Soldier is the weaker one of those four. in my opinion. So it could be interchangeable with Kickboxer. It could be like I'm not married to it as far as my Mount Rushmore, but I really enjoy this movie. I don't have a rigid. I don't have a rigid checklist of what makes a Kickflix movie. We talked about this in previous episodes.
Right.
If there's martial arts in it, it counts to me. I don't need a montage because like there's a lot of 90s movies that are not, like Rambo has a fucking montage, and that's not a Kickflix.
It's
movie.
not a Kickflix, but again,
right.
These are all things that I have developed. Look, this has been over time. I've developed the perfect system for determining whether or not a movie falls into the category of Kickflix. And that's my criteria. But again, that doesn't necessarily affect my ranking. I will say that in terms of this style of movie, it's in the Kickflix wheelhouse for sure. And I remember loving
Would
this
you say
movie
it's in the roundhouse?
It's in the leaning into the camera. It is 100%. So it's a recommendation for me. I'm not saying it's not a perfect movie. It's the 5 out of 5 I would say is your love for the movie.
Yes. Oh yeah. I mean, of course.
And that's what
the whole thing is, right? Any movie review is how much did you enjoy the movie? How much did you like the movie? Yeah. I'm not reviewing. I'm not rating the movie as a film student. I'm not reviewing the movie as like this is directing or writing at its finest. I'm just saying I like the movie, and here are the reasons why I like the movie. Because there's
so many good little moments in it, and it is like all shot in camera, and the stunts are done and it is. I feel like this movie you could do it now and make it like a Mad Max kind of thing where it's all done with no CGI or whatever. You could promote it as that. Make this movie again, and with a little more modern sensibilities, it would be badass. I think it would be amazing.
This is a great theme. Like if they made a Universal Soldier movie now, but with none of the writers of the previous incarnations.
Yeah. Give it to people who are making modern movies.
Give it to people who are making modern movies. Give it to competent people, and have Van Damme be as far away from the project as possible. Not just because of his current personal situation with what's going on with his awful and atrocious crimes, but also because he's 1,000,000 years old and he looks 1,000,000 years old.
I would say give it to the John Wick guys to hire young actors that have been, and make it literally about Afghanistan or about the war in Iraq, and literally change the setting and make
but you
it
can still
and
bring them back.
it.
Yeah, modernize it. So you're bringing back these soldiers, and then they go haywire, and then that's it. I mean, I don't even think this is the most original concept. I think this has been other movies have done similar shit, and you're just like, whatever, fine. Yeah. But it's great.
It's a recommendation from me, a 5 out of 5 from you. I think it's great. I'm trying to so I was watching this and I was thinking like, what link can I use to connect Universal Soldier to my suggestion? And I found it. Dystopian future serums. And I'm going to do the 2002 sci-fi dystopian martial arts movie, Equilibrium.
I've never seen that movie.
Guess what? You're about to watch it now. Because the 2002, it's got Christian Bale, it's got Taye Diggs, it's got the dude from Braveheart who plays Isaac the Bruce. I always forget his name. And it's basically there is a serum in it, and that's my connection to Universal Soldier. Also,
I thought you were gonna go with dystopian future, and when I heard dystopian future, I was like, oh, the Book of Eli. And
yeah, the classic martial arts movie, The Book of Eli. You see, Denzel.
I mean,
I have. You know what? That does bring up the Book of Eli. Reminded me of. Would Rogue One count as a Kickflix movie? It has Donnie Yen in it.
Yes,
and it counts.
I'm sold. I'm the easiest. I don't have a rigid checklist. I don't have a rigid checklist. Yes. Even if Donnie Yen played quadriplegic, I'd be like, he's in a movie. Donnie Yen, it counts. Sure. It counts. I don't care. It counts. Donnie Yen.
Anyway, but yeah, so 2002's Equilibrium is my choice for the next episode of Kickflix. With that said, thank you everybody for watching. I hope you enjoyed the Universal Soldier from 1992 and our takes on it. You can follow us individually at Mike Mercadal, at Nery Saenz If you want to complain to us about it, please do. If you want to support us in our decision making, if you also have a rigid categorization system for the movies you watch, please share with us at KickFlixPod on all social media platforms. You can email us at kickflixpod@gmail.com, and you can send us your suggestions for future films that you feel fit into the Kickflix oeuvre. With that said, Nery, is there anything you'd like to say or promote before we go?
Thank you very much. No, that's it.
Thank you, everybody, for watching this episode of... Yeah.